feels so good to be live once again. What up, Tay?
What's going on? Happy Wednesday.
You were gonna say Monday for real, weren't you?
I was, because it's been like the longest week already. I'm ready for the weekend.
I'm trying to adjust. Tell me if my volume gets all wonky. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay. All right. So we just had a special guest in our studio here, downtown Nashville, and he ran a little late. So now he's having lunch. I'm gonna try and get him to swing through here before he leaves.
Yeah, you should.
Either way, we got a full show lined up for you. We're going to talk about a possible new Real Housewives show and more. But first, I got to welcome, and I want to do the welcome before I bring him in because it's minor. It's kind of lengthy. I can see him off screen still, so hopefully he's paying attention. This is a dude that is on a massive stage. He is a massive representation of country music. He's a dude that since day one has always been down to earth, a good guy, somebody I don't talk to a lot, but I honestly consider a very good friend. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to What's Up Wednesday, Cody Alan.
Cody Alan.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me. This is cool. I love that intro. Can you follow me everywhere and just introduce me like that everywhere I go?
Are you hiring?
I'm telling you, Wayne D is the best hype man. Just saying.
Mean, ask the Nashville Preds who's the best hype man, and they will tell you Wayne D is the guy.
Dude, so we got a lot of things to talk about. The main thing when I reached out to you, I'm like, hey, let's talk about the ACM Awards. Obviously, you're plugged into country music just as much, if not more, than we are. So who else better to bounce some predictions off of? We'll get to that in a second. First, it's Wednesday. We hit hot topics, and we're going to start with those. And the first one is one of the hottest topics, although we did get an Instagram story denying it. The Real Housewives of Nashville. Is it going to be a thing?
Well, I mean, I hope it comes to life at some point. They've talked about this thing for years. I mean, and don't we all want to see it? I mean, also,
100%.
I know.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, so I hope they'll put it together. I mean, I know Brittany Aldean, you're referring to like a post about it kind of being denied. She was like, hey, I'm not part of this. This is not happening. But I do think it'd be great to see. And I would love, can we cast it right now? Me, Tay, Wayne, what do you think?
I think so. Let's do it.
Who should be on the show is my question. Like, who should we have? Because I think, well, Brittany would have been great, but she sounds like she's kind of bowing out of it. So, do you think maybe Brian and Tyler's wife from FGL, the FGL wives? We could start.
I would love that.
Too.
I think Caroline Bryan would be perfect. She's hilarious. She would bring like that extra spunk to it. I think she'd be great for sure.
Caroline, you mean Caroline? I mean Caroline. That's all Luke does. He talks about Caroline. Me and Caroline last night. We went on a boat. Me and Caroline.
Yep.
Me and Caroline. Yeah, Caroline would be great. She's hilarious too. I love her. Who else?
I mean, it would also be really cool. It's a long shot, I think, but Nicole Kidman, like, hello. That would be really cool. I mean, I'm dreaming big there, but
a name like we're leaving off.
Doll. I don't know if she might be too fragile for it. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, she's like so perfect. You're right. It's a long shot. It would be kind of cool to see her like in real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A name we're leaving off. Danny checks in and says, Tay, are you going to audition for it?
No way. No. I'd be like I'd probably be like the one that's like, guys, no, don't fight.
Jennifer asking the hard-hitting questions. Will Cody say hi to Jennifer Hirsch?
Aww.
Wow. Yes, of course, Jennifer. Hi, welcome. Thank you for saying hi to me. I appreciate you watching and listening. That's so cool.
Real Housewives of Nashville. I think we casted the whole show right there. And it'd be fun to get, because the show doesn't have the best history of like sanity. It would be fun
a lot of drama.
It would be fun to see more comedy than, a bleep show, if you will.
And people flipping over tables and throwing drinks on each other. I agree.
Are you saying you don't want me to be one of the housewives then, Wayne? Is that what you're suggesting?
I want you to. I not only want you on the show, I want you to host it, and I want it to happen in one house, real world style.
Oh, that would be really good. Although I have to tell you, my dog Teddy, who has been under my, I do everything out of the house. Unlike you guys who actually go to like a real studio. My studio is like right here in my guest room, and I have a camera and everything, and microphones. But my dog Teddy has been like under my feet for the past year, like doing all the shows with me. He literally thinks I am a housewife because I am a stay-at-home housewife all the time. I'm like a stay-at-home mom, pretty much.
Oh.
Hey, this is What's Up Wednesday. Tay Hamilton in the middle, me, Wayne D, and the super talented Cody Alan from CMT, and of course After Midnight is hanging out with us. The other thing, speaking of, you had brought up Caroline, Brian. We obviously want to wish Luke the best. His family's treating it lightly, right? We don't know. Have you heard, Cody, an update on Luke? I mean, we know he tested positive. You got to imagine he's probably dealing with mild symptoms, and that's about it at this point.
Yeah, I haven't heard an update at all. I think, listen, we all want him to be great. I hope he's okay, and he's strong and young, and I'm sure he's going to be fine. But and I think I had COVID back in February, and it was I don't know if you guys have had it at all, but
No.
it was for me, fairly mild, a couple days worth of yuckiness, and then it was over. And that's what I hear from most people is that most folks kind of get over it in a couple days, but it still sucks. And then you can't do anything really for 2 weeks. Although I continue to work because again, I do everything out of my house, so I was able to do everything here. But and by the way, it's funny that Luke has COVID because I did an interview with him where I had COVID, I knew it, and I had 100 and something fever. But I did the interview anyway for Hot 20, the CMT TV show I do, and I told him right from the beginning. I said, "Dude, I just like sucked down a couple Tylenols just so I can make it through this interview right now." So, and it worked out fine. I didn't flub anything up, luckily. But so I've been through it. I know it's tough. Our best to Luke, and I hope nobody else in his house gets it either. Like we're talking about Caroline. I hope everybody's okay.
Got you. You can check in regardless of where you're watching on Facebook. Leave a comment, and we'll check in with you. Lane says, "What up?" Danny says, "I wonder if he got it from the fish hook in his thumb, which looked extremely painful."
Yes.
Extremely painful.
So gross. Yeah. He didn't need to post it. I don't think it was.
I almost unfollowed him that day. I was like, I think that is not necessary. I don't need that kind of graphic display on my feed.
Not that kind of content, please.
Not interested. Luke, because of that, will not be a part of the ACM Awards this weekend, which sucks, but obviously we wish him well. As we jump into ACM talk, as we talk about the categories, feel free to hop in. Let us know what you think. If there's somebody that didn't get nominated that should have, let us know. Or as we list off, and we'll each pick who we think is going to win in that category, feel free to give us love there as well. And as much as we love the categories, Cody Alan, we all know it's about the performances. So we start with that. Out of the performances, I want to say there's like 25 different performances lined up for the entire night, which is like mind-blowing. Who are you most excited to see do their thing?
First of all, I got to tell you, and maybe you're like this too on social media, especially all these like Zooms and these things that we do now that we are not used to. I find myself looking at myself instead of the camera. Like,
I do it all the time.
Like I keep looking to make sure everything, like, do I look all right? So I'm going to try to look at the camera here, but I'm looking forward to the performance from Kelsey Ballerini and Kenny Chesney together on her song, Half of My Hometown. They do a duet on her latest album. And I'm looking forward to that just because I love them both. And I feel like it's a generational thing. It's like Kenny, a bit of, he's been around for a while, and Kelsey, sort of the new guard, kind of coming together. And I love that kind of scene. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, Carly and Lee, speaking of COVID, Lee did, of course, couldn't perform at the CMAs last year because he had COVID then. And he's over it now, obviously. And so they will perform together for the first time that song live. So Carly Pierce and Lee Bryce. So the big duets of the night I'm kind of into.
Speaking of duets, that brings me to, I'm a massive Eric Church fan. I am all things the Chief every day of the week. But there is a song that I pray gets worked to country radio because I love the strength of both ladies. And that's the Elle King Miranda Lambert song that came out, I want to three-ish weeks ago. It's called Drunk, right?
Drunk. Yeah. They're supposed to open the show with it too, which I think is going to be really cool.
They're using it in the promo already. I don't know if you've seen the promos for the ACMs, but the little commercials that come on CBS, it's like the theme song for those promos. So you're not the only one hearing that one and thinking, man, there's something there.
Oh, it's so good, man.
I'm also a really huge fan of Mara Morris, and I think Mara Morris and Ryan Hurd performing together, I think we're going to get a little like Faith Hill, Tim McGraw action where it's going to be like up close and it'll be intimate. I'm excited.
The whole show is going to be awesome in general. I'm going to put Cody on the hot seat here. We prep as we do these shows, right? So we were going back and forth on email, like, here's what we're doing. Here's this question you're not going to find on that sheet, Cody.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you.
I'm scared.
As a guy who's been at a lot of these shows, the best ACM performance you've ever seen.
Ooh,
Lord, that is a tough question.
They're all great. Next question.
I mean, you know what? Honestly, I can answer that because I feel like maybe it was 3-4 years ago. Do you remember when the opening of the show was like 5 people all at once? It was like Carrie over here.
Oh, yeah.
Eric Church over here. Jason Aldean over here. Luke Bryan comes, from out of the crowd. It was like 5 people all at one time. And you're like, holy shiz. What's coming at me right now? And it was just like country music exploding. And I'm even thinking about it, I'm getting like chills now because I remember getting chills seeing that. Like, first of all, I go to those shows and I'm like, I can't even believe that I get to do this for a living, that I can witness this and tell people about it and be a part of country music. It's always such a really cool experience. But those nights like totally get me hyped for this business, for what we do, for all that country music is. And I definitely feel like that to me was one of the most memorable moments for sure.
Absolutely. Let's jump into the nominations. We're going to start with, and this is always, they're all tough for me, but if you got it in front of you, ladies and gentlemen, your scorecard, we are looking for ACM Group of the Year. A lot of award shows will give you group or duo in the same category. ACM split those up. Duo of the Year. Tay, you'll pick first, then Cody rolls. It's Brooks and Dunn, Brothers Osborne, Dan and Shay, FGL, Maddie and Tay, who all respectively have had some pretty decent years. A couple of names have to pop out, Tay. Who do you go with for Duo of the Year?
For Duo of the Year, I'm going to say Dan and Shay. I think they're gonna win that one for sure.
It is funny because Cody, it feels like Dan and Shay were snubbed, and then they won.
And then all of a sudden,
2 years ago.
Yeah.
And took off.
Yeah, I think it must have been about the time that Tequila really hit strong. It was all of a sudden when that song, it was like, oh, that's your Duo of the Year. And then you had 10,000 Hours to follow that up. And so I think Dan and Shay is a really good choice. And I think I love those guys. So they're awesome. But I would probably go with Brothers Osborne only because I feel like they've had some incredible music that's come out this past year. And if you listen to their album, Skeletons, it's just amazing, rollicking kind of country music sounds meet something emotional and sentimental. It's just such a range. And again, I love those guys to death. FGL, never count out FGL though either. But all that said, I would say Brothers Osborne would be my pick.
You know, and it's funny. Justin Moore is checking in. He says Brothers Osborne as well. The Bros put together. It's a shame that the whole COVID thing happened because I would put them up album of the year. I mean, obviously they saw that nomination with the CMA Awards. They're good dudes. They're true, honest musicians, and you can feel it in the writing and when they perform. I'm going to go with Brothers Osborne. My gut tells me it's going to be Dan and Shay, but I'm riding with the Bros on this one personally. So we're going to have to keep score because the loser here, Tay, you're keeping track.
I know.
Right?
I need a pen. Hang on. Let me grab it.
The loser has to buy dinner for the other two. We did.
Hey, Wayne D, don't you have a free pass?
Yeah.
Dude, I'll tell you what. Next time we do this, you come down to us, Cody, and hang in here, and we'll do it all this way. And you come hang, and we'll have lunch at the same time.
I would love it.
We're jumping to ACM Group of the Year. The show obviously happening this weekend, and Group of the Year is the High Women, Cadillac 3, Old Dominion, Little Big Town, Lady A. And we'll start with Cody Alan this time, joining us from CMT and, of course, After Midnight. What do you think?
Whoa, there's been a nice resurgence of Lady A this past year. A couple big hits in a row, both kind of up-tempo, and their latest called Like a Lady, doing so well for them also. I think it's good. And Little Big Town, again, the artistry, you can't put them aside either. But I think you have to go with Old Dominion, who continue just to knock it out of the park. And I think there's some momentum because they've won in years past. So I would say Old Dominion.
Yeah, I dig that. Tay, what do you think?
I'm going to say Lady A because, yeah, I think they've had a phenomenal year, but they just became members of the Grand Ole Opry. So it's been a pretty big one for them. I'm going to say Lady A.
We got a lot of Old Dominion love. We got Joy's in on Dan and Shay. Our guy Justin Moore says Old Dominion. Our girl Brooke Taylor says Old Dominion. I think she was introducing them at the show. Old Dominion. We did get some love for the Cadillac 3. Phenomenal dudes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to argue against Lady A. Obviously, they've gotten a lot of attention name-wise away from music, but they've continued to pound the pavement. And with their latest song, Like a Lady, they have a way of sounding like Lady A, but like giving you a new level of it with every radio single we hear. So I'm all in on Lady A.
Okay.
I love that Tay's
I'm keeping score.
Tay's got to step away to figure it out. Hey, if you have an artist that you love that has been you feel snubbed this year, maybe should have gotten a little more love, feel free to leave a comment on the Facebook page you're checking us out on as we jump to Male Artist of the Year, a category that I seriously feel, and the female category of the year, more than ever, these could have like 20 artists in them when the show goes live. Obviously, it would take up too much time. We're going to start with Tay this time. The nominees are Chris Stapleton, Dierks Bentley, who is far overdue for a haircut. I love you, Dierks, but you got to be.
I'm jealous of his curls. I want his curls.
Cody and I would agree.
Yes,
he's overdue for a haircut.
Those curls, where are they?
The Chief Eric Church, Luke Combs, and Thomas Rhett. Tay Hamilton, your Male Artist of the Year is.
I'm going to give, as much as I want the Chief Eric Church to take this category, I'm going to say Luke Combs. I think Luke's had a massive year. This is his year.
It's tough to go against Luke Combs in anything, I think. Cody Alan.
Yeah, I think Thomas Rhett has a chance here as well. Thomas has had a great year and obviously has, hit after hit. I think What's Your Country Song is his 17th #1 song, which is crazy. Wow. So that said, I don't think there's any topping Luke Combs, who also is like a hit locomotive. Like there's no getting in the way of Luke Combs. 10 #1 singles in a row. Like every single he's released has gone to #1. That's crazy. So, and obviously this past year, also very active, Luke, with new music coming out constantly. I think he's been updating his fans a lot on social media with new stuff and keeping the excitement rolling, trying to keep the momentum happening. So Luke is the locomotive. Luke Combs wins.
Yeah, I always say he's got that secret sauce to his songs because they just shoot right to #1.
Right.
Now, as you can tell, we have Joy. Joy's leaving some comments here. And Joy says Dustin Lynch was clearly overlooked. And she also says Sam Hunt was clearly overlooked. As much as I agree that their music is fantastic, I think Joy thinks it's most attractive man of the year. It's only
Why
music.
Do I
Joy.
agree with Joy?
I mean, especially Sam. Like, come on now. Southside was a jam.
Although Southside was fire, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
So out of these male artists, Tay, you're going with
Luke Combs.
Luke Combs. Cody Alan goes with
Luke Combs.
Luke Combs. Again, my heart says the Chief, but because I might be picking him in another category coming up, Luke Combs is gonna run away with this. And it sucks that only one person can win, because out of these 5 guys, I mean, you might as well cut that thing in fists. By the way, we could just cut the one that's hanging out behind Cody. You can share that one back there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's strategically placed too. Do you notice that? Wait, hold on. I get my bear.
I mean, I'd be lying if I said I didn't have one next to me too.
Ah, look at you, girl.
It was before we got to
it's
Nashville.
Not for me, but it's a radio station.
That's all, but it's nice to have one. I don't care where it's from, when you got it.
I can still pose with it, right?
Look at that. Shine. You shine it. You shine that thing too, aren't you?
Trying to keep it right and tight.
I need to get some Windex on mine. It needs to be shined up. Anyway.
We continue to talk about the ACM Awards. Cody Allen, our special guest on What's Up Wednesday. Tay Hamilton, I'm Wayne D. I'm going to ask you a very difficult question about this category and the next one. And I'm going to start with Tay because if she can't figure it out, it gives Cody time to figure it out. Give me one male name, and we'll do the same for the females. Give me one male name, and we're not taking anybody off, but one male name that should be added at least as a finalist.
Ooh.
And again,
For artist of the year.
Yep, and I'm not saying he takes somebody else's spot, right? Those 5 guys will remain, and the 5 ladies will remain. Yeah. But right now, if you were going to add one male artist up for the nominee, or getting nominated for male artist of the year, who would it be?
I mean, I kind of have to agree with Joy. I think Sam Hunt should be there. He had a great album. I think that album was fire through and through.
Yeah, I'm with Joy on Dustin and Sam. Although I got it, and Keith the Urban might be like one that's sort of like left out there. That would be obvious.
Matthew has Kane Brown. Matthew said Kane Brown. That's a good one.
That is a very good choice. I also think there's some always dark horse, if you will, artists who are out there who really are popular. They make waves. They make great music. And I think of Kip Moore. You know what I mean? Who comes to mind? Like Kip, unfortunately, we don't see him on a lot of these award shows. And I think he's a great entertainer and a great country music singer-songwriter. I also think of Chris Young being great for this category as well.
True.
Makes hits and just churns them out, and should be recognized for it, but doesn't.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. The Chris Young one sticks to me. I mean, Kane Brown makes hit after hit. He won earlier this morning for Video of the Year for Worldwide Beautiful, which in a time like this, who else would you even give that to? So
love that, yeah.
So I stick with you guys for male. If you guys want to chime in on the comments, please feel free. Joy says there are so many great songs. There are so many great songs that came out this year during such a hard year. Absolutely. And actually, Joy, you just gave me a great question to ask. Thank you for that. I'm just going to keep throwing random questions.
Quickly, Joy is beginning to take over Tay's spot as co-host, I believe.
Hey, Joy.
All right, no more Joy.
Joy has got it. I mean, she's got opinions, and she's not afraid to share them.
I love it. Yeah.
We move on, and again, I'm going to ask the same question here. So be thinking in the back of your head, who's not on this list that should be? But we'll start with Cody, and picking your female artist of the year: Miranda Lambert, Maren Morris, Kelsey Ballerini, Carly Pearce, Ashley McBride. Who wins?
Yeah, I think it could be any one of those 5 ladies, because I think Ashley McBride, although she hasn't enjoyed quite the chart success, is a critic's choice and puts out amazing country music. So you could even see sort of someone like her, finding her way with enough votes to win. I think Miranda's the clear favorite. Maren, though, I think has had a phenomenal year, and I think she's so talented. Carly Pearce, I mean, all these women are Kelsey.
It's tough.
I mean, it is hard. I'm going to go with Maren because she won at CMAs, and I feel and people's some voters' minds. So Maren.
My gut tells me it's Maren's year. Like an artist has a time in their career. Not everybody, right? It's rare air, but nobody else has to be nominated. If their name's in there, shows overroll the credits. It's not an insult to anybody else, but that category feels Maren to me as well. What about you, Tay?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Maren. I think I love me some Maren. I'm a huge fan of her personally, but I just think she's had a big voice in the past year, and she's had a lot to say, and she's not holding back, and she's had great music. And I mean, she's also in her personal life, she's been thriving. So I just think overall, I think Maren Morris is going to take this one.
Cool story. We get to interact with artists on different levels sometimes. So this cool story about, and I'm sure, Cody, you have a million stories yourself. We were at St. Jude, and this is before she had put a single to radio. And we got to interact. It was probably 3 a.m. at the Peabody Bar in downtown Memphis, at the hotel bar. And there's 15 of us still just not wanting to go to sleep. Ashley leaves, comes back with a guitar, and starts playing and singing and we're all sitting there like just, and not like drinking or being ridiculous, just enjoying her in like the rawest form until like 5 a.m. It was one of the coolest moments ever.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, she's like one of those artists that I feel like could, it's not surprising to me that she would be found at 3 a.m. at the Peabody playing country music for everybody, because it's just in her heart and soul. I would only say one more thing about this category, and that is Miranda Lambert had probably the best year of hits she's had in a while, and yet she's won other years. So the fact that Bluebird was such a gigantic song and hit for her this past year may mean that she gets some favoritism because of that, because people will see that, she's back in all, not just artistically, but back with hits as well, which I think makes a big difference to a lot of voters. So can I change my vote?
Yes.
I use pin.
Okay. All right. I'll go with
It's
Miranda.
forever.
I mean, it is literally a flip of the coin here, because
It's hard. This one's hard.
Who knows? Yeah.
Well, and the cool thing about Miranda, whenever you get out of being locked in your studio apartment overlooking the Batman building on Broadway here, when they get this Casa Rosa open, Miranda spot, it's unreal. I'm gonna text you a picture when we get off of this, because they just started painting the building.
Oh yeah.
Like they're painting the brick and everything. It's unreal. You can't really see it from. No.
No, I think it's on the other
What color
side.
are they painting the brick? Pink?
Pink
brick?
and black.
Yeah, it's going to be pink and black for real.
Yep.
That's awesome.
It's going to be awesome. All right, so now give me a female. Now that we've picked that, give me a female that is not on the nominee list that deserves to be.
I think people might say Casey Musgraves, right? I mean,
Yeah, I could see that name for sure.
Again, Casey, who gets a lot of Grammy love and is kind of like an all genre favorite, and although she's definitely country and loves being a part of our format, and she's obviously won in the past on ACMs and CMAs. So I think Casey Musgraves probably is the first one that comes to mind for me. And if I'm looking at pure vocal talent, can I just say Lauren Elena? Like Lauren Elena is a great singer, and I think she can belt out just about anything anytime you ask her. So to me, again, she's one of my favorites, and I think she deserves some love at some point, right?
Yeah, and I agree with you. And the thing about Lauren right now too is it feels like musically it's almost like she was making music as a job, and now it turned into making music for fun. And it just seems like in her delivery, everything is different. Like she's maybe, and I haven't had the chance to ask her. Yeah, exactly. Tay, what about you?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree about Casey Musgraves, just because, I mean, got to throw the Grammy out there. She's a Grammy, like, that's crazy. And she's not nominated in any of these categories, which does shock me a little. But
ACM Awards coming up Sunday. Cody Alan hanging out with us from After Midnight and CMT. And one of the biggest categories in any show is Entertainer of the Year. It is hard to argue that any of these people don't deserve to be on this list, but we're gonna add a name at the end of this as well. When this list first came out, I was like, where are the ladies?
yeah,
Right.
And it's not that it's weird, because I don't think that not that a lady should all these records are the same to me. Like these artists have performed so well, but like to think that there's no Miranda on Entertainer of the Year. Cody, you mentioned Miranda had arguably one of the best years she's had career-wise with the Wild Card album and with the single success. So that's weird to me, but we'll get to that in a second. Entertainer of the Year category. Tay will take this one first. Nominees are Thomas Rhett, Luke Combs, Luke Bryan, Chris Stapleton, Eric Church.
well, I love that Eric Church, the Chief, finally got a CMA award. And he's also coming out with 3 albums in a span of like a month. So I'm going to say Eric Church. I think he deserves this one. He's a chief.
What about Cody? Who you got?
I think it's again a really tough category, but I think
Hey, say hi to Chase Royce.
what's up, Chase?
Hey, what's up?
You never-
y'all?
How you doing, man?
Man, fuck Cody Allen.
Chase Rice is in the
Entertainer
house.
of the year. Oh man, I thank you guys so much. It means everything to me.
Is there anyone you'd like to thank
We're
for
gonna
the
give one
award,
Well,
Chase?
I think I'm the only one that did a show last year, so I really, really do appreciate it. I just like to thank you guys, everybody at CMT. It's been awesome. See you, bro.
Dude,
Uh,
he's a busy guy. He's
Yeah.
a busy guy doing his thing. Yeah, she's in there. I know. We're on live. Where's Cody? Cody's
right
in his
here.
office.
Uh,
You never know who's gonna hang out on Lower Broadway.
What
McKinney's
happens
here.
when you're in a bar? You never know.
That's what I'm saying. So, entertainer of the year, Tay goes with the Chief.
Yeah.
Chase Rice picks himself. What about Cody?
I would go with one of the two Lukes, honestly. I think Luke Combs, you can't argue again. He's had a great year, incredible momentum. I think Luke Bryan is always entertaining anytime and again, this is a weird year for entertainer of the year because no one's been touring.
Right.
We haven't had anyone on stage, which is kind of what this award is really all about. Who's the best stage, kind of act, who's the best entertainer.
Yep.
But I think Luke Bryan rather is really always entertaining, and we see him on American Idol everywhere. There's something about him that I always think, okay, maybe Luke kind of get this. If not, I'm going to say though at the end of the day, I'll stand by that.
No, I get you. Our girl Brooke Taylor, Luke Combs. I agree. I mean, maybe Jeff is onto something. Maybe we need an award show to add a best prank category because Luke. I mean, you could call it the Bryan Award.
See, but I feel like Eric Church has been really active on social media too lately. He's been putting out like little clips of his songs and teasing people. So, I mean, I feel like that is the way of the world this past year. It was all dependent on Zooms or, virtual shows and stuff like that. And I think the Chief Eric Church, he did that. So
My heart says Eric Church. My gut says probably not. And I only say that because it's hard to match the success that Luke Combs and Luke Bryan have had the last year, right? And arguably Chris Stapleton. You talk entertainer of the year. These are all extremely entertaining human beings who, as soon as they have tour dates, are selling out straight up.
Yeah.
I think Eric Church wins next year. I think he gets nominated and wins next year because it's the success he'll see from Heart and Soul and then the Gather Again tour. But I think this year, one of the Bryans, I think you're absolutely right with that. It's going to be one of those two guys. Tay, and you went with Eric. Did you go with Church?
yeah, I went with Church.
I mean, I hope Chris Stapleton's pipes. I dig that. Mojo says Luke Combs. We got a Luke or Eric right there. Feel free to keep chiming in because our final question is add somebody to the list. It can be a guy, it can be a girl, wide open. It's somebody who, and we all agree that this list is missing females to begin with. But who would you add if you could?
I'll jump in here because I think name a girl, any girl. I mean, just put a girl in the category. I mean, I don't care. Like Mary Lawrence, Miranda Lambert, Carrie Underwood. Like, there should be a girl in the category. Period. Like, I don't understand why it happens this way. I also think, and I always wonder about this because typically you don't see like a duo or a group kind of in the entertainer of the year category. And why is that? Like, why aren't Dan and Shay? Why don't they qualify for entertainer of the year? I mean, they've had as much success on streaming and on the charts and being entertainers on social media as just about anybody else. So why not? So yeah, I think a female and maybe even thinking of the categories being opened up to other acts who are also entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Justin is definitely in on Miranda or Marin. And like the big thing is, I think it's important to be like, hey, equality is important. Right, like equality in general is important, but like this isn't even an equality thing. This is some of the best and baddest records made this year were of ladies, and to not have that entertainer of the year category show that I'm not preaching equality. I'm just saying, hey, these ladies not only deserve to be in the conversation, but should be fighting for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, how many ever top spots you got. Tay, who would you add to the list?
I would say Marin. I think she's had such a big voice this past year. It's hard for me to process that she's not even in Entertainer of the Year. But also Miranda Lambert, she's had an amazing year too. I don't get that. Who else? I think Keith Urban too. I think right before the pandemic, he had his residency in Las Vegas. He was doing some really big things as well. So.
Yeah,
It's
and
tough.
Carrie Underwood, didn't she tie last year with Thomas Rhett? I mean, she's not even nominated this time. And that was like, what, November, something, September? I don't know. I've lost track of time. But nonetheless, it's not been that long ago that Carrie Underwood was even winning the award, and now she's not even nominated. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but whatever.
I'm hoping this year it's only one winner per category.
Right.
I think that's only fair.
There should definitely be a coin flip. If there's an equal amount of votes, or have an arm wrestling match, or like a WWE WrestleMania match, something like let's do something here.
I can't see Carrie Underwood doing a body slam in her dress.
Mom strength will surprise you.
Don't put anything past those legs. Those are amazing legs right there. She's been working out, y'all.
As we hang out with Cody Alan, what are your plans for the ACM Awards, man? Are you in person? Are you doing some red carpet stuff? Like, what's the deal?
So there's not a lot of that happening. I'm going to be in this same camo. I plan to wear the same camo hoodie on Sunday night. And I'll probably be in my same joggers, sitting at the house, watching it on the couch. How about you guys? Same.
I'm going to put on like it's weird a guy my size to call a pair of shorts gym shorts, but I mean, that's what they were intended for. That's what I'll be hanging out in, and a shirt. I'll wear a shirt too.
Okay. Basketball shorts are like the most wonderful thing to me right now. I love a good pair of basketball shorts. I will say I miss all of it though. Like, it's so strange. It's so COVID. It's taken over everything to the point where we can't really even do like the regular an audience. We can't do a red carpet like normal. So all that's kind of been cut out or shut down. And next year, is it back to normal next year? Right? Come on.
Hopefully.
It has to be. It has to be, man. Well, whatever you're doing for the ACM Awards, y'all, we appreciate your time, and hopefully you enjoy the show. And we'll have to catch up next week and little ACM scorecard and see how everybody did. In the meantime, I want to show love. Cody Alan, you're a class act, dude, and I appreciate you taking the time out to hang out with us today, man. Did we lose Cody?
He froze.
Hey, it's so
no,
great to be
don't
on with
freeze.
you. It's so
There
good
we
to
go.
be. Oh yeah, I was saying what a great person you are, Wayne.
Of course, that's when it cuts out. Of course,
right. And Tay, it's so great to be with you. Also, I love, by the way, hearing you guys on the air, like on the radio and stuff too. So this has been fun, but you guys are on the air every single day, like slugging away, like so many of us in radio. Try to do your best to make good stuff come out of the speakers, and you guys really deliver every single day. So that's what it's all about. So anyway, just cool to be with you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, y'all.
Cody.
Cody Alan, Tay Hamilton, Wayne D. Until next time, this has been What's Up Wednesday. Next Wednesday, let's do it again. See you guys.